This is the 365 Sports Fantasy Football Show. Here's Paul Catalina, Steve May, and Grayson Grundhafer.
Welcome in to the first fantasy football show of the year. Thanks to our friends at Brotherwell Brewing. I'm Paul Catalina alongside Steve May, and Grayson Grundhafer joins us from our fantasy football offices in Austin, Texas. I think that's what we should call it, Grayson. I'm not sure. We've never really landed on a name for where Grayson is, which I'm not going to tell you. I mean, he may not want us to know where he is. It might be a special.
That's true.
The location, discretion, is very important to us. But glad to be back. The fantasy football season is here. You have seen some content we've done on the channel. We did some previews. We also, Grayson, we did our draft here in the building. And we put all 17 rounds? 16 rounds. All 16 rounds of that draft up on the Sikkim 365 or 365 Sports NFL channel.
I'm sure Grayson watched all 2.5 hours of it.
Did you, Grayson, watch all 2.5 hours?
I absolutely did not.
Wow. Okay.
No, I don't know. I feel cheated.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know.
We might have to have a little off-air discussion here.
I mean, that's just,
bit.
I don't know.
Guys, I had drafts of my own this past weekend. I've been busy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just thought maybe in preparation and solidarity, but whatever. But we did. We all had drafts. I actually, I had a draft on Monday night that I had to kind of navigate while I was doing another show, which was, it was all good except for my second round pick, which I missed.
That's important.
Yes, it was Leonard Fournette. I'm not happy about it. But the other problem with that draft is that like 3 guys are in the military and then 2 others were camping. So
is this your long time league?
Yeah. So like half the league was drafting and half the league wasn't. So like the auto draft button clicks on really fast. And I think that's what happened. So like I couldn't even react to like, oh, that guy got drafted. So like after one round, if those people are auto drafting, if you're not looking right at it, like if there's an auto draft pick in front of you, you are kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, the time that you would have to think about, like, okay, what can I do here if these 2 guys do this was kind of over. And then I look over and it's like, you picked Leonard Fournette. And I was like, bad words.
What pick did you have in that round?
4. I was the 4th pick. So okay. I was, it wasn't like based on the scoring that we have in this league. It's not the worst pick.
Right.
But it wasn't what I wanted at that time. And the 3 guys I did want went right after. So it was kind of a setting. Also welcoming a new member to the team this year, Jacob Wilson, our producer and fantasy football guru himself. Guys, he just did a draft in Vegas.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Went to help out, build some churches. Just general good old-fashioned family fun.
Yeah, so that's what he did there. So Jacob's going to contribute this year to the show. He's got a lot of expertise. So like this quadrangle that we have of fantasy football goodness.
Yep. Awesome.
So Grayson, let's start with you. How do you feel about your drafts?
Yeah, I mean, guys, I actually really like my draft this year for multiple leagues, but I'll say my biggest, most important league, guys, I kind of went against my normal strategy, and I ended up taking one of the top 5 quarterbacks. And I normally don't. I normally wait on quarterback until a little bit later in the draft. But for me this year, I took Lamar Jackson, and I got him in the 7th round, which was really nice.
Oh, that's good.
So it was kind of unconventional. But I liked it. And in a couple of my other leagues, I went with more of my conventional approach of taking a bunch of running backs and wide receivers. And I think this year it's really interesting because I think a lot of people are all about getting an anchor running back, getting a running back in the 1st or 2nd round, and then loading up on receivers until you get outside that running back dead period. Or dead zone. Sorry, I got recruiting lingo on my mind. But once you get past that RB dead zone, then you start taking guys like Ramondre Stevenson or Chase Edmonds, or those are some of the popular guys after that. So I found that strategy rather interesting as well, and I actually did that in one of my more recent drafts.
Yeah, I got Lamar Jackson in the 7th round in that draft on Monday night as well, and it was good. My league has started to learn, like you don't just go for it. I say that in my league, except for in that league, the first pick, Josh Allen.
And it's not a super flex league?
No. The first pick was Josh Allen, but it did allow me to draft Derrick Henry with the fourth pick, which I was happy about, given that the other two guys I would have wanted were off the board. In Austin Eckler. Well, I guess it would have been Jonathan Taylor, and then I had to choose between Eckler and Henry. And in our league, I took Eckler with the second pick, and we can talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But I did take Derrick Henry, and I was happy with that. Steve, you're in a bunch of drafts, including the Scott Fish Bowl. Too many leagues, you told me, which Grayson doesn't believe in. Grayson, can you be in too many fantasy football leagues?
No, it's not possible. Absolutely not. And I'm jealous that we didn't get an invite. The Scott Fish Bowl. I don't know how that didn't happen, but Steve.
Now that I'm
selfish.
in, maybe we can take care of that next year. But yeah, so I'm in 9 redraft leagues, about 5 best ball leagues, and then this year for the first time, y'all probably heard of the guillotine leagues. Guillotine.
Yeah.
So I've done I'm in 3 of those, and that's basically you do a draft like normal, and it's based on total points, and whoever. So after week 1, after this weekend, there's 18 teams, so the draft gets really thin towards the end. So everybody's scraping the bottom of the barrel at that point. But if you're in last place after week 1, you are eliminated. And all the players on your team go to the waiver wire. And that happens every week until you get down to the final 2 teams, and then you battle it out. So you don't want to be eliminated first, because then that kind of ruins the fun for the rest of the year. So, yeah, so again, and I'm in too many, but I have a hard time saying no to anybody when they ask me to play. But the Scott Fish Bowl is definitely the highlight of the season this year. 3,000 people playing nationwide, a mix of analysts, experts, and fans. Scott Fish, I haven't met him personally, but everything I've read and seeing his social media, seems like just like a great guy. The league is for charity, and it's a big deal. So if you listen to the fantasy station on Sirius XM, you hear the analysts talk about it all the time, and had to pull out some stops to get an invite, and was able to do that. So hopefully for next year we can get everybody else in there. But I don't like my team. I'm already having regrets on that, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll talk about it throughout the year. We want Scott Fishbowl updates every week and to see how it's going. And you can even send some of the standings over to Jacob, and he'll put them up on the screen and make them all pretty. Awesome. That's what Jacob does, is makes things pretty. But he'll do that. And Steve, I do have to, and Emery Winter is actually in the studio now. He produced our live draft and put it up there.
Did a great job.
Yeah, and we're going to have Emery as a special guest several times throughout the year. He's a fantasy football guy as well. Our draft went off really well. I thought that it did well. I have to brag about something. Is we have a vote for best draft, which is never really a good thing when you do it. And it's the kiss of death in the league. So whoever wins best draft never wins the league. But you did submit our draft results to the football guys.
Yes.
And football guys gave who the best draft, Steve?
I believe they gave you the best
draft. You're damn right they did. That's right. And that was a draft that I was not entirely comfortable with, Grayson, because I was using, part of the reason they gave it to me is I do like their rankings a lot, and I did use their rankings because it's easy to plug in our league. And so it was just spitting out basically, this is the next person you should draft. And then the only time I kind of venture outside of the next person is, do I like, are they healthy all the time? Do I like this team this year? And blah, 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 blah. I spent the first part of the draft and a segment we did on this very channel saying that you should avoid Cowboys.
Yes.
And I wound up drafting 3 of them.
You got the most.
Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Tony Pollard. To me, there's only 4 worth drafting, and Zeke's not one of them. And I got 3 of those 4.
I got Zeke.
And you got Zeke. So it's, and hopefully maybe Zeke will turn it around. But Grayson, I was I'm just sitting there and it's like, okay, well, I'll take CeeDee Lamb. I mean, that's going to be fine. He's the number one receiver. And then it comes down time to take a quarterback, and the person near me, I really wanted Russell Wilson. I like Russell Wilson, very bullish on what he'll do this year. Russell Wilson was gone. So the next person up before you don't take another quarterback for about 5 rounds is Dak Prescott. And I was like, well, damn it. All right, well, here we go. And I like Dak, but again, I don't like putting a lot of my eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's an interesting dilemma, and also one that I think is kind of a fascinating talking point, because it really feels like a lot of people are torn on kind of how good the Dallas offense is going to be this year, and also just how good CeeDee Lamb is going to be. Like, is he actually going to take that step to being a true wide receiver one, like a top 10 guy that you're drafting him to be? So I'm really fascinated by that whole offensive scheme, and just seeing kind of, do they stick with running the ball, even though they've lost offensive linemen? Do they throw the ball to Dalton Schultz more? Do they when they get Gallup back, is he going to be what he was before he got injured? Lots of question marks, but I actually think that's a pretty interesting strategy, getting Dak and CeeDee Lamb. I think you're going with a lot of upside there.
So, Grace, I want to get your opinion too, because in the first round of this draft, I had a huge dilemma. So I was picking 6. It's a 12-team league, full point PPR. And as we knew, somebody would take a quarterback early, and Justin Herbert went with the 3rd or 4th pick.
With the 7th pick.
Was it 7th?
The 7th pick,
okay.
Yes.
So when it came to me, McCaffrey was still on the board, which shocked me with the 6th pick. I had
8.
6, right?
You had 8.
No,
wait. So
no. You're looking at the wrong.
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at this one right here. Justin Herbert went 7th.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for me, so if McCaffrey was there, but I didn't take him because I was worried about the injury. So I took Dalvin Cook instead, who you could argue is just as injury prone as McCaffrey.
No. He's not. He's been healthier, but yeah, I mean, he's injury prone as well.
Yeah.
He's not McCaffrey injury prone. Look, I had the 2nd pick in this draft, and I took Austin Eckler because I'm not touching Christian McCaffrey with the 2nd pick with the 10-foot pole because what's going to change? Yeah. What's going to change? So and really, there's only 2 running backs I really like anyway that aren't going to let you down. Derrick Henry was hurt last year, and even though I think he'll be fine, everybody hits the wall sometime. Jonathan Taylor and Najee Harris are really the only ones I wanted on my team. And Najee Harris kind of remains to be seen based on the fact that Trubisky and a rookie are going to be their quarterbacks this year.
So what were the first 5 picks?
The first 5 picks were Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, and Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
Then you picked 6, Dalvin Cook.
Okay.
And then Justin Herbert went 7th,
That's
and McCaffrey went 8th.
That's right.
Guys, I want to play in your league. I want to be able to get Christian McCaffrey at pick 8. That is insanity to me. And I know,
hey,
you're
you what pick
about,
I draft him with? Pick nothing. I'm not doing it.
I get it, but I would also tell you that, maybe Dalvin isn't as injury prone, but Dalvin Cook has missed an entire season and actually torn an ACL.
Yeah. Christian
McCaffrey's injuries are all just kind of hamstrings or ankles, and then his team sucks, so there's no point in rushing him back. I don't buy that his injuries are really something that is, going to hold him back this year. They're all kind of fluky in my eyes. And you also have to remember, he wasn't injured at all during the first part of his career. And so I think these 2 years have been fluky, and he's on a bad team, so they've been a little more cautious with him. I think this year he's going to be fine. I don't have a problem if someone wanted to take him with the number 1 pick. And I would say he's definitely got the most upside of anyone in fantasy football, and it's really not even close.
Well, I didn't think he would fall that far. I just thought the next person was going to take him. But I'm not taking him. I'm not. I didn't take Dalvin. Like, I could have taken Dalvin. Look, I love Dalvin Cook like he's my own son because he went to Florida State. But I wasn't really going to be enthusiastic about taking Dalvin either, so.
I did get Madison later on in the draft, so I feel pretty good about that. But, overall, I like my team in that league.
Yeah, our David Smith, who picked 7th in that league, had a really interesting run of picks. I mean, it's Justin Herbert was the first round pick, Travis Kelce in the second round. It's not too much of a stretch, but even still for a tight end.
I got Kelce.
Oh, you got Kelce? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're Boogie Shoes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So then he had Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird how that all went down. But yeah, it was crazy. Jacob, how do you feel about your teams?
I mean, of course you feel amazing, after you get done with your draft and nothing has actually started yet. Usually, unless you have an Andrew Luck retirement announcement or someone, tears an ACL in camp like those Ravens running backs did last year, you always feel really good. And I had Derrick Henry follow me with my 10th pick and 10th out of 12 picks.
Oh, there you go.
And so I felt pretty good. Funny story, one of my buddies who came to Vegas missed his flight. And so we all went to the pool, and we had a cabana, and we just waited for him to get there because, we had a time slot. I think we had to leave at like 4. So we didn't start the draft until about 1:30 or 2. And so we were already, doing our thing at the pool, and we made it 12 rounds before they kicked us out. So we had to resume the rest of the draft online a couple of days later.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that's wild to do it halfway. So, and again, I don't expect drunken drafts in Vegas to really go well. It's probably better off for you that you did it that way.
I did. Yeah. My last 4 picks, they were done with a clear head. Not that I was too far gone. I still feel very good about my draft.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get in the cabana, and then they just start bringing you stuff.
Yeah.
They're just trying to rack up those charges to you.
That's high roller.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, start 'em, sit 'em for the week. 5 start 'em, 5 sit 'em for quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Tight end, we've kind of excised from this year because there's 5 tight ends that you start every week, and then. If you guys have hey, maybe start this tight end this week, it's a good matchup, that's fine. But, outside of that, we know who it is. It's Kelce and Waller and those guys that you play every week, and then the rest of them, you just kind of move on and play as is. Or if you have to, because you only have one. And that's what your lot in life is. When we come back, start 'em, sit 'em, week 1. This is the Fantasy Football Show on 365 Sports.
Shorty's Pizza Shack at 12th and Bagby is a homegrown, locally owned pizza place that's out of this world. Everything from the dough, the sauce, the sausage topping is made fresh in-house. Not to mention the amazing pizza pillows, the chicken wings are to die for. Try the Sikkim sauce, chili cheese fries or tots, plus great specials on food and drink every single day. Shorty's is also the perfect spot to watch the game with your friends. Shorty's Pizza Shack at 12th and Bagby. Tell them Paul sent you by.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
This is the 365 Sports Fantasy Football Show. Here's Paul Catalina, Steve May, and Grayson Grundhafer.
Start 'em, sit 'em. Let's start with, Steve's quarterbacks here. And look, here is another thing we've added to the show this year. Fancy graphics.
Okay.
We're bringing it big time. We are bringing graphics to the show. So Steve's starts at quarterback this week.
Yep. So no surprises here. I mean, if you're just talking redraft league, if you have these guys, you're going to be starting them. They were probably your top quarterback, but these are in the order that I think they'll perform. So Lamar Jackson, I think they got a great matchup this week against the Jets.
Yeah.
And then Josh Allen tomorrow night. And then Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts. I think Hurts, unfortunately, as a Cowboy fan, I think Hurts will finish the year as a top 5 quarterback. I wasn't big on him last year. I don't know. It just felt like he was really inconsistent, but they've added some weapons there. So I think Hurts is going to be great. And then Mahomes, obviously, he's always solid.
Yeah. All right, Grayson, what are your starts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're just going to go with, talking about the top guys, Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to be great. He's my number 1 quarterback on the week. I think if you look down a little ways, I really like the matchup between Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes. I think that's going to be a shootout. So I'm intrigued with both of them. I think both of those offenses are going to do really well. A little lower on the board, I'm interested to see how Trey Lance does in his first start against the Bears. I think it's going to go really well. I think the 49ers are going to run the ball a ton because they're going to be up a lot, which is going to lead to a lot of those read option scenarios. So lots of running going on for Trey Lance this week. I'm excited for him. I think he's going to have a big opening week.
Jacob, you got any notes on this? Particular starts for you?
I mean, I've got 5 starts. At quarterback, I really like Matt Ryan this week. I'll go ahead and throw mine up here. I really like Matt Ryan this week. He's playing a really hapless Texans team, and the Colts traditionally, doesn't matter what personnel they have in there. T.Y. Hilton, that was always his big game, even when he was way past his prime. And so I really like Matt Ryan. We all like Michael Pittman Jr. I know this because I went through all your picks and your DFS stuff. But I want to take a look at Alec Pierce because he's a guy that no one's really talking about. He's a rookie that the Colts drafted in the 2nd round. And I know Paris Campbell is still there, but he's been injury prone his entire career. It hasn't really worked out. And I really want to see if there's a connection between Matt Ryan and Alec Pierce because he's shown that he can support 2 wide receivers before.
All right, there we go. And then we'll get into some of these other ones later when we talk running backs. I'm here to navigate.
Okay.
I'm here to navigate. That's what I do. I'm the pitcher. I throw when you hit. That's what I do here. Plus, I get people giving me enough crap about college football stuff. You should have seen this long thing in the chat room today. Somebody was mad because I said, I don't think Clemson would beat Michigan because their offensive line's not very good. And this guy, essentially, read me the riot act by how dare I. So I was like, all right. Okay. You saw their line. I did too. So I just don't need that stress in my life. Let's go to running back. Steve, who you got?
Again, regular suspects here. McCaffrey, Taylor, Eckler, Henry, Kamara. I do like Gibson as maybe again, if you drafted him probably in the first part of your draft with the unfortunate injury to Robinson. That was a big question mark going in because there was some talk that Robinson was going to definitely take some carries away from Gibson. That's not the case now. So Gibson, and then I also like where'd he go? I like Javonte Williams. That running back situation there in Denver, Williams or Gordon. It's probably going to be a 60-40 split this year, but I think as the season goes on, Williams is going to show that he deserves most of the carries.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon came back on a sweetheart deal for a reason. Yeah. I mean, they're shifting their focus to Javonte Williams. I think the AFC West is going to be super interesting. The worst team in it right now is Las Vegas, and they're really not too shabby on offense. I think their defense probably has a lot of work to do. So that they're going to score a lot of points. Grayson, who are your running backs?
Yeah, so, like you said, the usual suspects at the top. I think if you go down the list a little bit, some sneaky guys. Ramondre Stevenson for the Patriots against the Miami Dolphins. I really like him this week, especially since it looks like, Ty Montgomery's a little iffy And so I think Ramondre could get a lot of the passing downs work while also being just an absolute force. I think he's going to be the best running back on that team this year. If you kind of look at some other guys who are a little interesting, this is not going to be a popular opinion, but I think Cam Akers is still going to be really good this year. And I think that game against the Bills is, while it's going to be a shootout, I do think the Rams are going to try to run the football and take care of the ball a little bit more. And so I could see Akers getting a little bit of run there. And then I also like the Packers running backs against the Vikings. A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, they'll both be very good plays this week. I like A.J. Dillon in DFS because he's quite a bit cheaper.
All right, and Jacob, you had a couple interesting running backs on the board there.
Yes, I really like J.D. McKissick this week because reports out of camp before Brian Robinson tragically got shot was, J.D. McKissick's going to get these third down, especially if you're in PPR. He's going to get the third down work. He had some really good games last year when you didn't really expect it, and we don't know because Antonio Gibson, he was getting some, bad vibes through camp. He was practicing with special teams before Brian Robinson got injured. Fumbles will, ball security is job security. And so I like J.D. McKissick, and I like Chase Edmonds. I think Chase Edmonds, in what looked like an early crowded backfield in Miami, I think he's kind of emerged to step forward and become the lead back in the Dolphins offense.
I wanted to ask Grayson's opinion on Cam Akers. So there's a lot of other – I know we'll talk about DFS here in a little bit, but there's a lot of other sites that have popped up this year where basically they're pick-em sites, picking over-under on certain stats. So for Cam Akers for tomorrow night, his over-under on total rushing yards, it varies on the sites, but it's about 43 yards over-under for Cam Akers. So, Grayson, do you think he'll go over or under 43 rushing yards tomorrow night?
Yeah, he's going over 43 rushing yards.
Okay.
Guys, I really think there's a little bit of a smoke screen going on here by Sean McVay. I think that he likes Darrell Henderson, and I think we can all agree, like Darrell Henderson, he's a good running back. He's fun. He's nice to watch. He had a good season last year, but he's not Cam Akers. And I know Cam was, he had the Achilles injury, so everyone's all nervous about that. But he came back in 6 months and played in the playoffs against 3 really good defenses. So I just think he's the better running back. I think he's going to look far more explosive this year. So 43 yards, yeah, I think he'll get that.
So I didn't put money on that. What I did put money on was his combined rushing and receiving yards was 61, and I did the over on that. You feel good on that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I feel good on that. The issue is the whole Kyron Williams thing, if that's going to be a thing. But I don't think it will. But, I mean, I guess there's a possibility. But I still think 61 is a pretty fair number as well. 43 in the rushing yards department, though, I feel like that's going to be easy money.
Yeah. I'm of course, bullish on Cam Akers. Again, love him like he's my other only son.
He's my number one running back in the Scott Fish Bowl.
Yeah.
So look, I'm hoping.
And look, we get to see much of him last year because of that Achilles injury, but this was a guy who was really good in college behind one of the worst offensive lines that's ever stood next to each other. 5 guys in a line ever for a couple years. I mean, just awful, and was one of the leading rushers in the country. And the stat I keep going back to is he led, like, if you hit, he doesn't go down when you hit him. And he had this ridiculous record of, he had the most yards ever after first contact that anyone ever. And it was because he got hit literally every time he touched the ball. So, like, the next guy in the country that year, like, Cam Akers had 750 yards after first contact. And then the next guy had like 300. So it was that much difference where he was just always getting hit. So if he's behind an NFL caliber Super Bowl offensive line for a whole year and the team commits to running the ball, he's going to put up numbers. He's going to score touchdowns, especially. All right, wide receivers for this week. Steve, what do you got?
Jefferson, Kupp, Chase, Adams, Diggs, all the usual guys. A couple of ones a little bit farther down the list. I like Gabe Davis tomorrow night. And I actually like – there's been some question about with Mahomes, who's his number one receiver going to be. And I think at least right now it's going to be Juju. So I do like him as well.
Yeah, well, you'll see Juju on my DFS sheet. I mean, because he's going off at 5,000 there. So, all right, Grayson, who you got? Wide receivers.
Yeah, Juju's on my list as well. I think he's going to have a good week. A couple other ones I really like. Hollywood Brown, these first 6 weeks, is going to be so explosive for the Cardinals. I think he's an awesome play this week. And the dynamic duo between he and Rondale Moore are going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think Rondale is actually going to take over a little bit of the Chase Edmonds role in that offense as well. So you're going to look up at the end of the year, and he's going to have probably like 25 carries for that team, which will be nice to see. And I think he's going to be a bigger part of the offense now that Christian Kirk is gone. Another guy that I like, Mike Williams. He absolutely decimated the Raiders last year. I believe it was in the final week of the year. Just absolutely destroyed them. I expect him to do that again. I think Mike Williams is one of those guys I think is going to finish top 12 again, just like he did a year ago. And I think that starts this week. I also like Rashad Bateman against the Jets because obviously I think Lamar Jackson's going to have a big week, and I think Rashad Bateman is going to be a huge factor there.
Jacob, you mentioned Alec Pierce earlier as a wide receiver. Anything else on that front?
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's a little bit of competition in who's going to be the number 2 wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. And I think Paris Campbell, they wouldn't have taken Alec Pierce in the second round if they thought they were confident in Paris Campbell emerging to finally take that role. I think they took Alec Pierce for that reason. And my other receiver that I highlighted this week is Allen Lazard because the Packers are playing very familiar foe in the Minnesota Vikings, who are not a good secondary. And Aaron Rodgers got to throw the ball to somebody now that Devontae Adams is gone. And he has proven that he really likes Allen Lazard in the past. And with those vacated targets from Devontae Adams, I think they go to Allen Lazard.
Yeah, and there's no quarterback in the league that is more choosy about his guy than Aaron Rodgers. But maybe it's different this year. I mean, he's dating a witch. So, we don't know.
Yeah. Jacob, let me ask you about Alec Pierce because I ended up with him on a few of my teams. Got him really late, which I was happy about. But for week 1, are you actually starting him over some other receivers that maybe you got earlier in your draft?
I feel like I'm talking about Alec Pierce quite a bit. But I am playing him in DFS this week because he's very cheap.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But in a season-long
interestingly enough, I was able to move Brian Robinson into an IR slot, and guess who I went and picked up? It was Alec Pierce.
Smart.
And
good.
So I'm not starting him this week in my redraft league because I've got enough depth, but I think he's definitely worth a dart throw in DFS especially because of that opponent with the Houston Texans.
Yep. All right, and we'll talk DFS in a second. So we'll go through all that. Plus, we'll draft our Thursday night showdown league, which is something we do every week. And you like little Tony Romo just popping up here. When you're on the screen, just give me the one shot of Steve here, real quick. I want you to see something. Look, he's just like. He's just like hanging out in the corner.
Yep.
So
much better than that block of cheese behind my.
And I did that to you on purpose. I look. I've got the Cowboys behind me. I work here, so it's easy for me to do that. Maybe we'll switch it up next week. But yeah, so there was little Tony Romo who was never really a great fantasy guy. I mean, sometimes he was, sometimes wasn't, but he was never like there's a ton of Cowboy fans that will, throw me out in the street for saying this, but I'm very over Tony Romo. He is the 4th best quarterback in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. And just because he has those numbers does not mean that he's better than Aikman or Staubach. And that's all I will say.
So you putting Dak at 3?
I might put Danny White at 3.
Okay.
But Danny White won stuff.
So Dak after Romo for right now?
For right now.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
so you have Aikman or Staubach at number 1?
I'll take Staubach at number 1 just because of the overall talent, but Aikman at number 2. And it's close. I mean, it's neck and neck.
Yeah.
1 and 1A. And then after that, look, I might even put him behind Don Meredith. I don't know. Those guys won things. Tony Romo didn't win anything.
Yeah.
He was fun to watch. That was it. Didn't win anything. Jacob's 31, so he's of that generation that might think that Tony Romo's cool, but
Danny White lost 3 NFC Championship games.
But he got there
in a row.
But he got there, man.
Still hurts.
But he got there. And he and I did a podcast together last year, and we're friends now. So I'm sticking up for Danny.
All right.
I'm sticking up for Danny.
Heck of a punter, too.
Yeah, see? Romo do that? No. That's all I'm saying. They gave Romo's number to Kevontae Turpin. That's all you need to know. They gave his number away already.
And Jalen Smith, briefly.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
That's
Two
right.
guys have had it. Who's had number 8? No one.
Yeah.
Who's had number 12?
Nobody.
One.
Yeah.
He's not in that category.
Yep.
That's all I'll say on that one. And that's just kind of our random issue of the week. Maybe that's something I'll do since I don't do Stardom Sit-em. When we come back, we'll do a daily fantasy lineup, and you'll see all 4 of our daily fantasy lineups this week, which Steve will probably inevitably change when he sees ours because that's the kind of sneaky things he does.
Well, yeah, because we're all looking at our lineups. I'm in this to win it.
Yeah, but these are things that maybe you can use in your own leagues. Yeah. This is the Fantasy Football Show on 365 Sports.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com. Shorty's Pizza Shack at 12th and Bagby is a homegrown, locally owned pizza place that's out of this world. Everything from the dough, the sauce, the sausage topping is made fresh in-house. Not to mention the amazing pizza pillows, the chicken wings are to die for. Try the Sikkim sauce, chili cheese fries or tots, plus great specials on food and drink every single day. Shorty's is also the perfect spot to watch the game with your friends. Shorty's Pizza Shack at 12th and Bagby. Tell them Paul sent you by.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is the 365 Sports Fantasy Football Show. Here's Paul Catalina, Steve May, and Grayson Grundhaver.
Alongside producer Jacob Wilson. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you do. Jacob just had a baby, and it can't grow up completely happy if you don't like and subscribe to the channel.
Like and subscribe so I can feed my child.
Yes, there you go.
Boy, girl.
Little girl.
All right.
There we go.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, so there you go.
So he needs to win some DFS money to.
Yeah. Also, like and subscribe to the channel so that my fiance won't be mad that I come and do this show every week. I mean, that's, why are you doing that show? Because it's fun. No, she just misses me. They miss you. I've never, this is, Steve, you know this. You've known me for a very long time.
I miss you too.
No, but for me to be engaged in this serious relationship was a huge left turn in my life because I was very adamant against not doing it. And so now I'm navigating the things of having somebody who really wants you to be in the house all the time with them. Whereas before it was you could call me up and be like, hey, would you like to go here? And be like, yeah.
Now you have to ask.
Nobody's telling me not to, so
you have to ask.
I'll be at, let me spray some deodorant on. I'll be there in 15 minutes. So in this segment, we're going to see our DFS lineups. We're also going to draft between the 4 of us a Thursday night captain showdown team. And last year we did not quite break even, but we had a couple of good weeks toward the end that. And this is the first week, so I'm doing a $3 league for the first week. After this, we will do $1 leagues. Okay. That's what we're going to do. So, in fact, the only reason I have money in the DraftKings account, and since I have a wedding coming up in a few months, is just so we can do this and at all. It's no longer for my personal recreation.
All right.
At least not this year. While every dollar counts when you're trying to pay for a wedding, where apparently bread costs 10 times as much as it was in the normal world. Grayson, you know this all too well. You're married as well. So
Special bread.
yeah, it's just, oh yeah, we would like iced tea. All right, that'll be $9 a glass. What is it? Did Jennifer Aniston make this tea? Is that why it's special? I mean, what are we doing? All right, back to the task at hand. DFS lineups. You know what? Since I didn't go last time, we'll start with mine. Jacob, throw it on up there so we can see it. All right, here's my lineup. I like Lamar Jackson in Baltimore.
So this is for the Sunday slate.
Sunday slate only. Yeah, this makes it easier.
No Sunday night game, no Monday.
Yeah. And I was able, like, Alvin Kamara, I like the matchup against the Falcons. I like Cordell Patterson this week just because I don't know what else the Falcons are going to do. It's pretty much him and Kyle Pitts as far as we know right now. Drake London's a rookie. Calvin Ridley is suspended for longer than Deshaun Watson for a much lesser crime, but he's there. Michael Pittman Jr. against the Texans. Love that one. Hunter Renfrow, as long as he's in the $5,000 range, I might put him on the list every single week because he's PPR gold. Juju Smith-Schuster, I mean, right now it looks like he's the number one receiver in Kansas City. That might wind up being Sky Moore. It might wind up being something else. And look, Travis Kelce's the number one target in Kansas City. We know that. But somebody's got to make the big plays. Plus, I do think that Juju will benefit from being with a team with a quarterback who actually likes other human beings, and that is Patrick Mahomes. I think Ben Roethlisberger was kind of a crabby old man towards the end of his career, and if you didn't kind of, toe that line exactly, it was just not going to go well for you. And Juju's got a big personality. I think it meshes well with Patrick Mahomes. I think he'll have a nice year this year. Tight end, had to save some money here, so I went with Cole Kmet, who I think will probably be the only Bear that's open at any point in time for Justin Fields this year.
Yeah, Fields is going to be running for his life. So
so a lot of dump offs.
Yeah.
And then was able to pick up Travis Kelce with the flex because I saved some money other places. And I went with the Commanders defense because it was cheap and they're playing the Jaguars.
Yeah.
All right, Grayson, let's see your lineup next.
Yeah, so guys, I went with Matt Ryan. So I know Jacob's talked about him a lot. I'm a big Colts fan, so everything he was talking about with Alec Pierce makes a lot of sense. And I think that offense is going to be really good this first week. I also think, in this first week, I think Matt Ryan's going to throw the ball a little more than expected. I know they're going to run the ball a lot with Jonathan Taylor. Naheem Hines will be involved as well, but I think they're going to let Matt throw it quite a bit. My running backs, I have Saquon Barkley. I took him 6,100. I felt like he was cheap enough to take a shot on kind of the upside there. I also think they're going to be losing a lot, so he's going to get a lot of check downs, and they don't have any other running backs. So I think Saquon's going to have a really nice year and week as long as he's healthy. I mentioned Ramondre Stevenson earlier. I think he's going to be the guy in New England. At wide receiver, I went with a bunch of upside with Hollywood Brown and Mike Williams. I think either of those guys could have, that explosive 30-point week. They're just such explosive playmakers. Michael Pittman gave me the stack with Matt Ryan. I just think the safe floor is kind of what I was going for with him. I took Kyle Pitts at tight end because I think Kyle Pitts is going to have a great year.
Wait,
this says Freiermuth.
This says Freiermuth up there.
You made a change on me, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I sent you. I thought I sent you mine. Yeah, I got Kyle Pitts on there.
All right.
Sorry about that. And then Juju in my flex, and then I have the Saints defense. So hopefully everything else was on there.
I'm surprised Pitts fits into that lineup. Just swapping out Freiermuth.
5,700.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Again, Pitts' value is probably devalued by the unknown of Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
So,
so your lineup, Paul, was so you're looking at cash games or the big tournament. So I think and what we're doing in our little group would be more. I know we're not playing for any money, but that'd be more like you're competing against a fewer number of people, so you can go more traditional. So I think your lineup is really strong for cash.
Yeah.
And the one that Grayson just did, I'm going to copy both. I will be playing both those lineups, and but Grayson's is good because it deviates just enough from the norm where that would be good in one of the tournaments.
Yeah.
If some of those guys hit.
All right. Let's go, Jacob, and then we'll have Steve back clean up on this one.
Okay. So I already talked about the Matt Ryan and Alec Pierce stack, if you will. So I'm spare everyone from any more details on those two. But at running back, I went with, in the words of Michael Scott, I'm ready to get hurt again. Because like Grayson pointed out, his injuries have been very flukish, and he's got a great matchup this week. I had the budget, and so I went with Aaron Jones. I think he could eat up a team that he has eaten up before with the Vikings. Jamar Chase, he was my other big money weapon at wide receiver. And I noticed when I was putting these together, we're all four of us are thinking pretty alike this week, which is remarkable because I didn't know what anybody's lineups were until an hour and a half ago. And I've got Pat Freiermuth at tight end and Dallas Goedert at my flex. Had to do a little bit of budgeting there. And, Washington Commanders, they're playing the Jaguars. And so they were also a very cheap option. So I tried to go value picks with tight end on down. So
that's one I could see doing well in either a cash or a big tournament. The only issue I would have, how much money did you have left over? Did that wipe it out pretty much? Do you remember?
I had $0.
Okay. So normally a lineup that has two tight ends, and this is just historical. I mean, there's always outliers, but normally having two tight ends, unless it's Kelsey, the two tight end lineup usually doesn't do well in like a big tournament. Just because the targets aren't there typically to generate a lot of points. But every once in a while it could hit. But if you were getting down to, hey, this is all the money I got left, I think you made two good picks there.
I'll tell you, my strategy on drafting is I draft my defense second to last so that I can go and then I know what my flex, and then I draft my flex. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I drafted the Commanders, and that way I'm not doing math in my head all the way down until I get to the lineup and then we change things out. So when I hit the Commanders and went back to the flex, Travis Kelce was the first person listed. And I was like, well, I'm not going to say no to that. But again, Kelsey's an outlier because he's
a receiver.
Especially when things don't go well for the Chiefs, and this game might be a little bit of a shootout. You'll see stretches where like 7 of 13 passes go straight to him. Mm-hmm. And that just doesn't happen with other tight ends. Yeah. When Patrick Mahomes is like, all right, we're about to go dominate some fools, like it's going to be Kelsey. And then when they start to we got to cheat somebody up, then he goes over the top. But I'm interested to see what happens in that offense with that Tyreek Hill this year for sure. All right, let's draft the Thursday night. What? We didn't see Steve's lineup. I'm sorry.
Man, golly.
Sometimes I don't care what you think, Steve. No.
All right, so Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to have a great game this week. I think he's going to end up passing more this season than maybe in years past.
Well, he's trying to get that contract.
Yeah. Najee Harris, just because Jalen Warren looks like he's going to be the number 2. He may get in there for some passing downs, but Harris is pretty much all they have as a running back. I like Kamara. Nico Collins, again, Houston's going to be playing catch-up to Indianapolis, I think, so they're going to be throwing it. So I think Collins can get some targets there. T. Higgins I like. Pittman I like with the Colts. And then Freiermuth, I didn't have a lot of money left, so I just kind of plugged him in. Amon St. Brown, I think Detroit is going to be better this year. Definitely the Hard Knock series has everybody fired up. They did a great job with that. So I think he's clearly the number 1 target there. And then kind of like you, I picked Washington just because they're playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to be better this year.
But let's not pretend like it's going to be anything great.
Well, but even in that game, I really wouldn't be shocked if Jacksonville ends up winning.
No, look,
just because Washington's a mess. But with what I had left, Washington made the most sense.
Yeah, no, that game's going to be like watching two fat kids wrestle over a cupcake. It's just, in the end, everyone has diabetes. All right, let's do the Thursday night Showdown League,
All right.
Showdown Captain League. Now, we do this every year, and there are some weeks. There was a week last year where we were, guys, I'm not kidding. We were in third place, and then out of nowhere, I think it was a Raiders game. Out of nowhere, Derek Carr goes out.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota comes in, and some jamoke does like 100 lineups, like this Marcus Mariota, and then there was like a receiver he had, like Marcus Mariota not only ran for a touchdown but threw a touchdown to this like fifth wide receiver on the Raiders, and it was like
Edwards, like Braylon Edwards?
Yeah, it was like that, and it's like, what is going on here? We were like right in third, and the two people in front of us didn't have the guys that we had that were trending up. And I was like, oh, we're going to get it. We're going to win, and we're going to win. And then Carr goes out, and Mariota comes in, and it was like, here comes this guy from like one. I watched him from 100th to first in two plays, and we were done. So this year, we are going to win one of these. You have to dream it to do it, right?
That's right.
All right. So Jacob, you're new. Have you done Showdown Captain Leagues before?
That's a negative.
So in the Showdown Captain League, you have a captain, and then you have 5 flex players. So anybody. So the captain costs more money than anyone else. Like it's 1.5 times more. So,
but you earn more points for them,
But you earn more points for the captain as well. So this is Bills versus Rams, so there's a lot of good people to pick here. But just know, if you pick Cooper Kupp or Josh Allen, that's $18,000 off our $50,000, and we're kind of already cooked from there. Unless you really think that that's what we have to do, and you have to kind of piecemeal it together after that. So the captain is also good to pick. Maybe that's the one where you think is on the fringe, because if our captain is kind of on the fringe, then that's the best chance we have to win.
Yeah.
So say if our captain was Tyler Higbee, and Tyler Higbee catches 3 touchdown passes, then we've got a shot because most people wouldn't have put him as their captain.
Yeah.
Do you follow?
I do follow.
Okay.
Right.
I just, you're definitely keeping me on my toes as a producer early on.
Yeah. We can, if you want to pass the first pick on to Grayson or Steve, you can, and just watch us do it, and then maybe next week do it. Do you feel more comfortable that way?
Let me watch the 3 of you guys. Let me look at my laptop, and I still gotta have 4 ears and 6 eyes. But
Okay.
why don't you guys kick it off?
Let's let Grayson pick the captain.
All right, Grayson, let's go ahead and let you pick the captain.
Yeah, guys, this is a really easy one for me, and I'm really excited about it because I'm going to let y'all spend all the money because we're taking Isaiah McKenzie to be our captain this week.
All right, there we go. $3,600.
Can we do that over again?
No, hey, look, Grayson, tell us why Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah, guys, I think he's solidified himself as the third receiver on the Bills. I also think I like Gabe Davis. I think he's going to have a great year. But I also think Gabe Davis has been inconsistent at times. And so if we get a huge game from Isaiah McKenzie, which is possible, we could get a touchdown or 2 touchdown and type game from him. Then we're going to be sitting in awesome shape because we just saved so much money with this first pick. He is by far the best value I see on the board. And to get him at that kind of money, we're going to be able to take, maybe both quarterbacks in this one. So I think it gives us an advantage.
All right, Steve, you're next.
I'll take Josh Allen then.
You'll take Josh Allen.
Yep.
All right. Well, now we have $34,400. So I will take Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
All right. So we still have $22,000 in 3 spots to draft.
Back to me.
Yeah. Jacob, do you want to jump in on this at all, or?
Where are we at with Devin Singletary?
He's cost $7,000.
He's the lead back there. That's clear. The question is, how much is Moss or Cook going to cut into that? But for week 1, I think Singletary would be a okay pick.
I was thinking either him or Dawson Knox, depending on price value, because I don't have those in front of me.
Dawson Knox is $6,800.
And how much is Singletary?
Singletary is $7,000.
Make the call, Jacob.
Dawson Knox.
All right.
Dawson Knox. Okay. That would be, let's go back to Grayson.
How much we got left?
We have $15,200 left. So we're
good.
We got money to burn.
Okay. With this one, guys, we got to get some Rams in here. So I'm going to take Allen Robinson. I think he's going to be awesome, especially since Van Jefferson is likely going to be out.
All right, we have $9,000 left.
You're not a fan of Tutu Atwell?
Yeah. So, yeah, Allen Robinson went off at 6,200. That leaves us $9,000. That means the only player off the board for us right now is Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
So that means really here's your choices between Diggs, Akers, Gabe Davis, and Singletary are the top 4 players left on the board.
How many Rams do we have?
We have 2. We have Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson.
Okay. Diggs.
All right, let's go.
Yep.
Stephon Diggs. No money remaining. There we go. So our league, our Showdown Captain League, is Isaiah McKenzie, Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp, Dawson Knox, Allen Robinson II, and Stephon Diggs. Entered, locked in. That's what it is, in perpetuity.
There we go.
There we go. So that's going to do it for us. We will keep you updated throughout the week or at the weekend on Twitter, at Paul Catalina, at Commish, Centex Commish.
Centex Commish.
At Centex Commish. At Gray Grundhafer, he can throw it up there. And Jacob, you're on Twitter, right? You're Waco Jacob?
I am re-entering the Twitter world, but I am still on it at Waco Jacob.
Yeah, at Waco Jacob. So, yeah, we can tweet out things throughout the week and then might do some quick recaps early in the week before the show next week. They might not have as much video quality because it might be shot on the cell phone, but still, we'll do that. If you're watching this on either the NFL channel or the Cowboys channel, please like and subscribe. Again, it's good for all of us. It's good for the world. I can't promise you that it'll clean up the water, but I can't say that it won't.
That's true.
Like, I can't say that you not liking and subscribing will make the water dirtier, but I mean, you want to take the chance, right?
Yep.
We need clean water. That's going to do it for us. Thanks to Grayson Grundhafer. Thanks to Jake Wilson. Thanks to Emery Winter for just being a cool dude. And thanks to Steve May. We're back again next week. This is the Fantasy Football Show on 365 Sports.